This is the valve cover from a BMW, a straight 6-cylinder BMW. And that's the car right there. Let's go take a closer look. It's a 2009 128i E82 with the N52 3-liter motor. Let's take a closer look down here. Right there is where the oil leaks down from the valve cover, and then from there down onto the hot exhaust, and it makes a terrible burnt oil smell, and that's why we have to replace the valve covers on these cars. And here's a look under the hood, both before and after the valve cover gasket job has been completed. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown on every item that has to be removed in order to get to the valve cover. Number 1, remove both windshield wipers. Number 2, remove the cabin air filter. Number 3, remove the covers on either side of the tray. Number 4, disengage the harness bundles, these right here. Number 5 is remove this entire tray, and it has a little 8mm bolt on either end. You'll have to remove the strut tower bar. It has a big bolt on this side, and it has another big bolt on this side, and it has a big bolt in the center that you reach underneath this cover. Number 6, when you remove the tray, you can remove this windshield wiper cowl. With the tray out of the way, you can remove the engine cover, and it has 4 hex nut bolts at the corners. Number 7, I'm going to talk about stuff that you cannot see because it is under the engine cover. You must disconnect the fuel rail, and then you can remove the fuel rail. And the fuel rail is held down by 4 10mm bolts. Number 8, on this side underneath the cover, you disconnect each ignition coil and you pull it out. Number 9, loosen the coolant reservoir with the 2 bolts that hold it down so it can be shifted out of the way. Number 10, remove this plastic cover and disconnect the positive battery cable. Number 11, underneath the cowl and the cover, you have the enclosure for the DME. You're going to take off the cover and you want to disengage the harnesses from the DME box. You'll find that a universal joint or swivel will come in very handy for dealing with the bolts that are in the back of the valve cover. So if you followed all of these steps, this is what gets us to this stage with everything disassembled. These are the old gaskets. They are good and cooked. They've lost their pliability. They're hard and brittle. No wonder they were leaking. This is the valve cover gasket that I'm going to use. It's a Victor Reinz. I'll include a link in the description. These are the infamous spark plug well liners. We're replacing them. As I said, I'll include links to all these parts in the video description. This is the seal for the camshaft actuator. This is where this seal goes. It's just held down with a Torx head screw on either end. Take those off, take this off, and you replace this entire unit with the new unit. This is the seal for the oil sensor that goes near the front of the valve cover, right down there. One of the tricky bits doing this is getting this sensor seal out. And I've already taken this one out, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I took a long screwdriver, I got it down underneath the lip of the seal on one side, and then I just pushed down on the other side and popped it out like this. I'll put this new seal back in after the valve cover is on the car. When I put the gasket back in place, I use this adhesive, basically. It's a high-tack sealant. Now I just use it on the back side of the gasket so it does not fall out of the valve cover as I'm trying to put it in place. Here's a secret offbeat trick that I use to make sure that the gasket adheres to the valve cover after I put the tack adhesive on it. I lay some tools or bars or pipes or any heavy objects that I have across the gasket to push it down and get it to set in place. To prepare to get the valve cover back on, I use bungee cords to pull everything out of the way. That way I'll be able to slip the valve cover right back on without interference from any of these other components. So now the valve cover is back on, and it took me 3 tries to get it back on. On the first 2 tries, some section of the gasket caught on something and became detached. So I had to take it all off again and re-glue it and then try again. And the main thing you gotta watch out for, and I wish I'd shown this before, is way back here on the back, there's like a little portion of the camshaft that sticks out toward the back. And the most important thing is the edge of the valve cover has got to clear that little protruding bit of the camshaft that protrudes past the bearing or whatever you want to call it. Here's a tip for tapping in the new seal right here. This is the old seal. You just set it around the sensor, and then I just used this 25mm socket and just tapped it in by hand with the palm of my hand, and that seated it right where it needs to go. Everything is back together. The car has been out on a few test drives. There is no sign of any oil leakage anywhere. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.